It is Sunday Morning Live, and my name is Damien Calment. And today we're going to talk about keeping our words impeccable. But for a moment, let's take a moment just to breathe. Take a moment to clear anything in our consciousness that needs to be cleared. Any resentment, any unforgiveness, anything from the monkey mind that is jumping around with us today. Let's just breathe for a moment. Just breathe in the peace. Breathe in the comfort. Let the stress go. Just imagine from the very top of your head, the top chakra, to the bottom of your feet, a light coming into your being. A light that is lightening your mind, your thinking, your spirit. And we are here today so that we can begin to live our life more fully than we have. And so it is. One day, Susie went to school, and she had a new substitute teacher that day. And the teacher said, "Class, what's the world made out of?" Susie raised her hand. The teacher called her and she said, "Yes, Susie." And Susie said, "Spoke." Well, the teacher laughed and the class laughed. And the teacher said, "Susie, why do you say spoke?" And she said, "Because God spoke it into existence." We're talking about keeping your word impeccable. Einstein said everything is energy. And all energy, we know, must take some kind of form. Now, those of you who watch me on Sundays and other times, you know I talk about waves and frequencies, light waves, sound waves. Once a word is spoken, it takes on a life all of its own. Now, if you get nothing else out of this morning, listen when I say this. Never say anything that you don't want to be true for yourself. Once again, never say anything that you don't want to be true for yourself. Now, not only am I a reverend, a life coach, an author, and a alcohol and drug counselor, but basically what I am is a spiritual teacher, teaching you principles and tools of giving you things in your toolbox, how you can begin to live your life more effectively. The two most important words that you can say in the whole universe are the I am and what follows it. I talk to people in addiction and recovery all the time, and last week I was at a 12-step meeting, and when it comes around and a lot of people say, "Well, I am an addict, I'm an alcoholic," so it comes to me and I say, "I am a recovering and discovering addict." My energy is in the recovering and the discovering, not in the addiction. And since all energy must take some kind of form, and words are energy and they travel on sound waves, we have what we say that we have. And when we put the emphasis on the addiction rather than the recovery, then that keeps us in the throes of the addiction. Words are magical miracles. They are blessings or they are curse. In the last lecture, which was by Randy Pottage, who was a professor at Carnegie, I forgot where he was a professor, but anyway, he wrote a book called The Last Lecture, and he had pancreatic cancer and was going to die. And in one of the last interviews that he had with a news reporter, I was listening to it, and the news reporter said, "Randy, if there's something that you could leave us, what would it be?" And Randy said, "Tell the truth all the time." We can tell the truth all the time, but how we tell the truth is what is the issue. Do you know Psalms 19:14 says, "Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord." Or if I could change that just a little bit, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be impeccable. Impeccable, coming from that place of love in your sight, O Creator. Don McGraw-Reese in the wonderful book, The Four Agreements, says, be impeccable with your words. He says, if we can be impeccable with our words, 80% of what we perceive to be problems and situations will dissolve themselves. He says, be impeccable with your word. Speak with integrity. Say only what you mean. Avoid using the word to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. Use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love. Being impeccable with your word is about being truthful, honest, and kind. You've often heard me say that kindness is what the blind can see and the deaf can hear. Ephesians 4:29 says, do not use foul or abusive language. Let everything you say be good and helpful, so that your words will be an encouragement to those who hear them. Consider our words. As much as we construct our words and the phrases we use that come out of our mouth, I often say that to criticize is to tear down, to construct is to build up. Our words is the force that we use to create with, and they are the words that we use and the tools we use to express everything. Our emotions, our actions, our thoughts, and our attitudes. So how do we take this and put it into play? That can be challenging. What I've done, and I took this book of Don McGraw-Reese's, The Four Agreements, several years ago, and it so changed my life. I went out and I bought 100 copies immediately and gave them away to people. And I still have it on audio and I have it written, and it's still my go-to book, is that I take words that I use frequently and I see if they're positive words or if they're negative words. The more positive words I try to use more frequently. The negative words I am aware of, but I don't concentrate on those, because whatever you give your energy to is what is going to expand. All energy expands with the force that you give it energy. So I give my energy to the positive words. You know, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report. If there be any virtue, any praise, think and say on these things. One of the things that I endeavor not to do, and I don't say that I'm perfect in this, is that I try to avoid all gossip. Once you begin to gossip, it's like going down a rabbit hole. What did we say just recently that Don McGraw-Reese said? Avoid using the word to speak against yourself and to gossip about others. Sometimes I know because I know gay circles more than other circles, and I know church circles. Church circles, there could be a lot of gossip about, did you hear what so-and-so did? In gay addiction circles, there could be a lot, oh, did you know that he relapsed? And the gossip. That if it isn't edifying to somebody, if it doesn't build them up, we don't need to be saying it. Now, let's take that internally. Are the words that you're speaking to yourself building you up? Are the words you're speaking to yourself, are you being impeccable to the words that you're speaking to yourself? Because how can I speak words that are impeccable to you if I'm not speaking them to me? I can't. So the words that I want to speak today, the energy I want to put out today, are miracle words of blessing to myself. Now that's not being egotistical to say that you're the best, that you're this or you're that. That's taking an honest view of who you are and what your talent is and what your gift is, and able to expand upon it. So let the words of our mouth and let the thoughts of our heart, the energy level, and I've said this before, is that the neutrons that come from the heart to the brain are 10 times the amount that go from the brain to the heart. And we often say statements like, well, honey, speak from your heart. Just speak from your heart. Well, when we speak from our heart, the Bible says, from the abundance of the mouth, of the heart, the mouth speaketh. So you can tell the things that are in your heart by the words that you say. Are they blessing? Are they racist? Are they downgraded? Or are they encouraging people? Are the words that you speak to yourself encouraging to you? Yes, you're going to make it. Yes, I am a recovering addict. I see myself recovering every moment, every day. Yes, I am successful in my job. Yes, I am going to make it. Yes, I am on a better path. Everything is energy, and energy must all take some type of form. So if you're using impeccable words today, they will take on impeccable form. If you're using words that are not impeccable, then they're words of destruction. And the Four Agreements, John Miguel uses the words of the analogy of Hitler, and how Hitler used various words that were hurtful and actually caused damage to human beings. Now, the thing of words that vibrate, and you've heard me say this before, that negative words vibrate at a lower energy than words that are positive. And we know sound waves and we know light waves, but the sound waves, what you say always comes back to you. Once a word is spoken, I've already said, takes on a life all of its own. It takes, I have found, 5 positive affirmations just to nullify a negative word that I've spoken. And once I nullify it, then I get in the process of